Do you think we need to do over?
Sorry about that.
I think just maybe note for the record that all councilors are present.
Yeah, all councils
Okay.
are present at the city council meeting of April 18th, 2024 at Oak Ridge City Hall, 6 p.m. All right, moving on to item 4, which is additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda. James, do you have anything? Councilors, any recommended adjustments to the agenda? And seeing, James, I guess the only thing is probably 15.1 is canceled because we don't have a finance report.
We don't have a financial, but I have some updates.
Okay, we'll keep it on the agenda. And that's all I had. Now we're on to public comment. So we'll start in the room and then bounce to the video and back. Anyone in the room have a public comment? Anyone online have a public comment? Quiet group. They must be anticipating Representative Conrad. All right. Next is mayor comments, announcements, and proclamations. A couple. Don't forget, it's Tree Planting Festival, May 3rd through the 5th, with the parade occurring on the 4th on First Street here, starting at 10:30. Next, Lane County will be here on the 27th of April, collecting household hazardous waste at the fire station. Been their first visit in a while, so and that'll be from 9 to 2. And that's all I have. Any councilor comments or announcements? All quiet. 8 is the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, the motion was made by Councilor Brewer, seconded by Councilor Tarman to approve the consent agenda. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is item 9, which is appointments. 9.1 is the Administration Advisory Committee application. Ms. Cameron Anderson. James?
Yes, Ms. Anderson is here. She's applied to be on the admin committee. Resume and application is part of that.
Okay. Any councilors have questions of Ms. Anderson? Or go forward?
I would.
Councilor Kenyon, please.
Hi, Cameron. I know that you have been on another committee before, but what makes you interested in the administration committee?
Well, it was recommended to me to push forward with adhering to my calling to serve the city through public health and safety. I showed up over at the public health and safety meeting where I found the administrative committee available. And when I went back to see what other committees I applied to, it was just the administrative committee.
Are you familiar with what we do on the administration committee?
Yes, drafting. And voting. And billing the fee and making it possible for our administration controller to participate.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Ms. Anderson or of staff? All right, the motion is, did we get a motion? No, please, can I hear a motion?
I move to approve Cameron Anderson's application for seat 6, the admin committee, for a 3-year term expiring at the end of December 2026.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion was made by Councilor Tarman and seconded by Councilor Brewer. And the motion was to approve Cameron Anderson's application for seat 6 on the admin committee for a 3-year term expiring at the end of December 2026. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin?
Aye.
Councilor Brewer?
Aye.
Councilor Tarman?
Aye.
Councilor Coker?
Aye.
Councilor Bjarnson?
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon.
Aye.
Counselor Hollett.
All right, motion passes. Welcome aboard to the committee and thank you for your volunteer service.
I will be obliged to continue positively.
Thank you.
What can I say?
All right, item 10, business from the city council. 10.1 is we have a esteemed member of our state legislature here, Representative Charlie Conrad, who is, in my experience, is one of the most engaged and proactive state legislative reps that I've had experience to meet. So we're happy to have him here, and he's here to give a short pitch, or not a short pitch, but however much time he needs on the last legislative session and the big issues that came out of that. And then he's going to hang around and we'll go into a Q&A first from the counselors, and then any public that would like to ask him a question will go then. So Representative Conrad, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Have to move this back a little bit. So I appreciate you guys putting the time on the agenda for me to be here again. As I did after the long session, I wanted to come and talk to folks and just give them an update about what we did in the short session up in the legislature. So this was a 35-day session that began in February and in the beginning of March. And first off, I'm going to talk a little about, as a reminder, of the district that I represent. We had some of the things, some of the committees that I'm on. I represent House District 12, and House District 12 is geographically a somewhat large district. It goes from it goes from the Lane County Douglas line, Creswell, Cottage Grove, up to just into Lynn County. So it includes Junction City and then clearly all the way up here. So there are 8 different cities in the district, including parts of the city of Eugene and a lot of populated unincorporated areas. And the committees that I serve on are the Judiciary Committee, Behavioral Health and Healthcare, Emergency Management, Vets and General Government, and then the Public Safety, Ways and Means Committee. And in addition to those committee assignments, I've also been fortunate enough to be appointed to a number of different committees and commissions, and then I participate in a couple of caucuses. I'm part of Pacific Northwest Economic Region, and we look at the Northwest United States and Western Canada. So look at transportation, look at wildfire management, look at a number of different economic impacts with the whole Western region there. Also part of the Justice Reinvestment Grant Committee, and that committee looks at grants that go to full probation. How can we reduce recidivism? How can we reduce the number of days that Lane County felons spend in prison? How can we reduce that time? On the Juvenile Justice Policy Commission, I'm on the Juvenile Interstate Compact. I'm also on the Modernizing Grants and Contracts Task Force. And we're looking at how can we improve our grants and contracts between the state and nonprofits. How can we do a better job to help nonprofits be more efficient and be able to hopefully pay higher wages to their staff? So again, we've got a lot of workforce issues throughout the state, including the nonprofit sector. I was fortunate enough to be on the Measure 110 budget work group, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in a little bit, but we had the fix to Measure 110, which is House Bill 4002. I try to be light on the House bill numbers, but I do give some of them out there in case people want to go back or they want to research them. So we had the policy changes, but then also we had the money side of it to go back and figure out how can we help fund, build our capacity in behavioral health. And so I was fortunate enough to be on that work group. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then I also am a member of the Water Caucus, and this is a bicameral, bipartisan caucus. We focus on water issues throughout the state. So, clearly here for this district, it's going to be a lot of city, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of special districts. And then on the eastern side of the state, it's going to be different. You're going to be talking irrigation districts. You're going to be talking about wells. You're going to be talking about farms. And so we focus on water issues throughout the state. And then also, I'm part of the Veterans Caucus. And as part of the Veterans Caucus, we advocated and were fortunate enough that we finally got the state to allocate $35 million to, which is their portion of the share, to build the Veterans Home down in Roseburg. So that's the state share. Now we're got to get the federal government to pay their part of it. But we're happy that project's been going on for 15 years. So we finally came together and we were able to actually get that money going. So some of these groups are very effective and happy to be part of it. Just kind of as an overview for how the short session works. Again, it's 35 days in the even years, and then 5.5 months in the odd years. So 35 days, For the short session, we were, as members, we were limited to 2 bills. In the long sessions, we can have as many bills as we want. Some people submit 100, literally 100 bills during the long session, but we all have 2 bills. And just some of the numbers that go with that, we had 180 measures submitted in the House. So there are 60 of us in the House of Representatives, 38 senators. And of those 180 measures in the House, 71 passed both houses, both the House and the Senate. That compares to in the long session, the last long session we had, 1,758 in the long session were submitted and 360 vote passed both houses. And then on the Senate side, here in the short session, there were 111 measures submitted by the Senate and 62 passed both houses. And I say measures and not bills because we get joint resolutions, we get memorial resolutions, we get things other than policy bills and budget bills that come before us. And for the Senate side, that compared to the long session, 1,212 measures were submitted and 293 passed both houses. So you can see that the workload was a lot less, but in a very short, condensed period of time. And we did talk about a lot of big issues, and I'll touch on some of those here in a little bit. Just my take on the session, again, as a freshman legislator, I've only got 1 session to compare it to. I've been in and around when I worked at Lake Orion City's legislature for a little bit, but this was very bipartisan. There was a lot of work that happened across the aisles, and those are my thoughts. But those are also the thoughts from the lobbyists, from other stakeholders that are active in the legislature, and the other veteran members that have been here before. And for me, that bodes well for our state legislature continuing to work and function, to actually have conversations and pass bills that impact, hopefully positively, people's lives. We certainly did have some bills that were passed along the party lines, but there were very few compared to the long session. So I was very happy about that. And we did a lot of some of the conversations that we had, and I'll touch on a little bit. They were pretty intense. There were a lot of significant things that we touched in a very short period of time, but we needed to do it, had to be done. One of the last things that we did, we had now former Speaker Rayfield. He's running for Attorney General, so he stepped down at the end of the session. And we voted in now Speaker Julie Fahey. And I'm very excited that we have now Speaker Fahey because she represents Lane County. She's got Western Eugene and Benita. She's been in Lane County for a long time. So the fact that we've got the Speaker of the House that knows Lane County, that knows rural Lane County, that knows small cities. She used to represent Junction City like I've got now. It changed after redistricting. That's amazing. That is amazing for us to be able to have the Speaker in our district. And I personally have a lot of respect for her. Clearly, we don't agree on all policy issues, but the way that she goes about doing the business, she does a very good job, in my opinion. And she has already committed to and said that she's going to work in a bipartisan fashion. One of the things that she has committed to do is that now the Republican minority leader will have to say on which ones of us are what committees we're going to be on and what committees we're not going to be on. That might sound small. That has never happened in the history of the House. The fact that the minority leader gets to have a say before the members are going to go. So I mean, not only is she saying she's going to be bipartisan, but she's actually taking those steps. So I'm always optimistic and always hopeful that we're going to continue to make progress as the state legislature and continue to be functioning. And for those folks that might not know, one of the reasons why this is such a huge thing for Lane County is because there are 3 elected positions in the state that have veto authority. Speaker of the House. Nothing happens in the House or passes through the House without their tacit authority. Any policy bill, they get rid of. Any budget bill, they can get rid of. All of our committee assignments, all of our outside the legislature appointments, like some of the ones I talked about, all are approved by the Speaker. Senate President has the same authority. Nothing passes through the Senate without at least their tacit approval. And then, of course, the governor also has veto authority for everything. So we have one of the 3 most powerful positions here in Lane County, representing rural Lane County. Very optimistic and hopeful that that continues to go well. Some of the other things that we did besides the policy bills that I'll just touch on, we do a lot of budget bills as well. And some of the budget bills that we did this time around were because they're forgotten or they didn't get fully funded in the long session. And a couple of these were really key, and I was very happy that we got them taken care of. Summer school programs, we funded that. There are still going to be some school districts that aren't going to be able to have summer school programs. They're not going to get funding because there's a wait list. but we did get money back there. That was a shortfall that we did in the long session. So we got funding for summer school programs. We got funding for relief nurseries. In the long session, we did not fully fund the relief nurseries. They were $2.7 million short. We got them funding. And some of that comes about because of the House Bill 4002 and some of the work we're able to do for the behavioral health side of things. We also got child advocacy centers funded, which is a huge thing for those folks that have been to child advocacy center to know what they do. The fact that we were able to get them some money so they can keep doing that good work. And the other thing that we were able to fund is internet crimes against children. The Department of Justice runs that program. We're able to fund it so they can actually add additional resources because unfortunately that's a high work volume. But we got them some more money to do that as well. So those are some really critical things I was very proud of that we were able to get done. As I go through this, I'm going to hit on some complex topics. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, get as much detail as you want. I want this to be as informative and interesting and useful to you as possible. So I'll hit high levels for the most part, but if you want to get into these a little bit deeper, stop me, ask me questions, happy to get in as if that is useful to you. One of the first bills that I submitted is House Bill 4043, 4043. This is one that I submitted in the long session, and it tightens up our animal neglect and animal abuse laws. And it failed in the long session because it failed in Ways and Means. Because some of the money I had in there, I had a grant program going to 4-H and FFA. So for the short session, I didn't want to tackle Ways and Means, so I cut all that out, look for a different way to get money to those two organizations. But I was able to get it passed. And so now we have a much more stringent and tighter animal abuse law. So I was happy to get that done. That was signed by the governor on March 27th. The second bill that I submitted was that the Association of Oregon Counties asked me to submit a bill to bring our state and our counties in compliance with a U.S. Supreme Court case called Tyler versus Hennepin. Tyler's a person, Hennepin County is in Minnesota. And what this bill touches is property tax foreclosures. And what counties have been doing is as a property moves to the property tax foreclosure process, when the county takes that deed and they dispose of it, they sell it, they do whatever, if there is a surplus over above what was due to them, that is laid out in the back property taxes, fees to the community of the property, everything that goes to cities. So this does actually impact cities because cities get property taxes as well. Counties were keeping that surplus. The U.S. Supreme Court said no, that is a takings, that the property owners now get that money back. And so this House Bill 4056 was going to bring the state within compliance with that court case. And I was unable to get it to where I wanted it to be for a number of different reasons. But with the help of, I always give credit where credit's due, Representative Nathanson out of North Eugene, who chairs the Revenue Committee, which is the committee that I went before with this. We got a bill that passed that had 3 essential elements. One of them is that counties are not going to now take the deed of the property. So property tax foreclosure, there's a 6-year process before the county takes deed. The county is no longer going to be taking deeds for those properties until we get this bill fixed, until we get the process fixed. Except for, this is one of the things I wanted to make sure was in there, there's a statute that allows counties to take properties that are abandoned or that have waste on them. So nuisance properties. Counties will still take deed for those properties that are still nuisance properties. So those are important. The other key element in here is the way that we're going to work through this is that the Department of Revenue is going to facilitate a work group. We actually had our first meeting yesterday. So, and Representative Emerson Levy, who's got part of the shoots, we're going to just co-chair this work group to get the bill to where we need to get to work through the negotiations in the time that we didn't have to do in that short session so that we can fix this. And so we can ensure that the counties and the cities and all the entities are in compliance with the U.S. Supreme Court case. Back in February, we were working on this. The number might be slightly off, but we had at that time 24 active court cases between counties, either as single counties or class action lawsuits. We don't want counties, we don't want cities getting sued. So we need to get this so that we can help with the liability side of counties. Counties going to lawsuits, fighting these lawsuits, it doesn't do any good for the public funds to go to that. So that's what we're going to work on that right now. Anybody want me to get more in depth on property tax foreclosure? All right. Thank you. Some of the other work that we do, it's capital project. Some of the things that we have the opportunity to do in the legislature is to get some of the the money that property tax owners that people that pay their income taxes pay it to the county. This is how we can get projects back to the district, back to projects that actually help local jurisdictions that hopefully improve and augment their budget. And so with the capital projects, it is a competitive process. And so the amount of money, it's not consistent every year. The state doesn't say we're gonna put X number of dollars into this capital projects, but it all depends on what the economic forecast is and what all the other competing needs throughout the state are going to be. So against 60 of us in the House, 30 senators, we all want money to come back to our districts. We all want to help our local districts to be able to fund some of their projects. At a town hall that we had recently, House Speaker Fahey said she did the calculations and the amount of requests were 10 times the amount of money that was available. So again, it is a very competitive process for us to be able to advocate and to get these projects funded. So there are a lot of good projects, there are a lot of needs out there. And so part of what I do is working with all the communities, all the districts, to get projects in that state so we can go sell them, we can go advocate for them, and hopefully we get some of these funded either in whole or in part. One of the other things that we do as a local delegation, I'm talking about all of us that have parts of Eugene and Lake County, we get together and we talk about the capital projects, we talk about our requests, because we don't want to compete against each other for the same money, but we want to help and support because we view this as a region. And if we can help one community in the region, then we can help the entire region just a little bit more. So we do work really well together with that. And the key buckets of money that we had this time that we're looking at, was we had to focus clearly on behavioral health facilities, which again was part of what I mentioned earlier, was behavioral health work group in the other side of the policy work of 4002. That's House Bill 4002, which was the policy side for Provision 110 fix recriminalization. We always have housing and housing tangent projects. And as part of the water caucus, this is how we were able to get some money to some of our local communities because they were housing related. And if you saw the paper recently, you saw that Crestwell was on that list of 7 projects to veto. If you haven't seen it yet, Crestwell got their $1 million. They got the money. The government's not going to veto any of those projects. So as part of the water caucus, part of what we did was advocate, send a letter to the government going, no, these are all good projects. They're all housing related. They are going to directly lead to more housing production. So we're able to get that done. The other one, again, so far that the city community infrastructure side. So always looking to see how we can help our local districts. Through all these different bills, I was able to get 5 projects funded for the district. The first project I was able to get funded, we got $900,000 to upgrade the Bear Mountain communications tower, and then also purchased 100 radios for emergency management. So this was part of the state share, and then Lane County was actually able to get the federal side money as well. So that's going to be upgraded. I was able to get $1 million to go to Junction City for one of their projects, their Alderville well project. Again, the $1 million for Crestwell for the water treatment plant. Was able to get $3 million for Cottage Grove for their water infrastructure for a housing project that they have. They're looking to build up to 500 homes on a parcel of land that they've got. They requested $4.5 million, but the chairs for this committee cut off the limit at $3 million so that they can spread out the money a little bit more. So a lot of the capital projects you don't get fully funded, but you can get a significant chunk. And then the other project we got funded was $4 million to Lyman Family Treatment to build a medical detox residential facility. So very excited that we were able to do that. Again, in Lane County and Virginia, we've got a significant issue. So all that's helpful. There are just as some of the other projects that we had, just for information, that weren't able to get funded. And again, one of the ones that I thought was going to be funded was for Westford. They requested $600,000 for their city hall and fire department. That didn't get funded, so we continue to work on trying to find funding to help them out. Junction City, they had another well project that didn't get funded. Coburg had a water tank rehab project that they didn't get funded. Blue River, they're still recovering from the wildfire, and part of what their wastewater system becomes, they're so close to McKinley, and because of the hydrology and the surface waters up there, they have difficulty with wastewater. So they requested $4.5 million. We didn't get that funded. There's another project, just outside of Blue River, it's called Blue River, and they're looking at building kind of an amphitheater, concert hall, a facility that can help bring back some economic vitality to that area. That didn't get funded, and then Brown River Fire Response requested money for a fire station in Brown River, just outside Cottage Grove. I was able to get them some money last time in the long session, and they're gonna actually be on the ballot this May to see if they can reform the fire district down. So it's probably a little early to ask for money for a fire station, so that fire district gets formed, but certainly we work with them to try and help them get those facilities too. So any questions about capital projects or how that process works or anything like that? Okay. Now on to some of the key bills that we passed, and again, I'll touch on these at a high level. Let me know how far you want to get down into them. The first one I said a couple times, House Bill 2002. This is the fix to Measure 110. This recriminalize drug possession, small amounts of drug possession for narcotics. This bill, I think we all knew going into the session that we're going to have this. We had a lot of conversations leading up. There was a joint committee that was formed that started meeting, I think, in September or October, having discussions. So we knew that this was going to be the big topic that we're going to have to fix. There were the initial bill, the initial conversations were that narcotics were going to be recriminalized, but only to a C misdemeanor. And a C misdemeanor is the lowest level of misdemeanor, the crime that you can have. And essentially it does just about nothing. One of the key terms of art that's used, it's governmental interest. And in order for a police officer to really contact somebody or to pursue something, there needs to be a governmental interest. So if a police officer were to go up and contact somebody that they suspect of using some narcotic, and it turns into resisting arrest, it turns into an assault, it turns into something, doesn't make sense to instigate something that doesn't need to happen. And so that's where it started off. My position, the position of my caucus, is that we wanted that governmental interest. And we wanted police officers to be able to go and to contact people, and for there to actually be a penalty for that, to encourage people to get into treatment. And part of what my view is, and a lot of us were looking at, is we don't see where jail and arresting is going to help everybody, but it's going to help some. And if we can help some, then that's good. And then we'll look for other doors. We need so many doors for people to get into treatment. As we build that back end infrastructure for addiction and behavioral health, we need doors to open up into that back end. So we're looking at both sides of that. What the compromise came down to, it is called it's an unclassified misdemeanor. Unclassified misdemeanors aren't new. This one is a new designation for it, but unclassified misdemeanors, when I worked at Springfield, we had it for a lot of our city code violations. So again, it's a crime, but it's really not much of anything. So they went with an unclassified misdemeanor, and it is close to being what an A misdemeanor is, so functionally very similar, but there's a lead up process that's different. And functionally it's similar because there's up to a maximum of 180 days of jail time that somebody can serve being convicted of this. And if they were to violate their probation, then there's 90 days that they could be sentenced to additional jail time. The process to get to that is different. This is something that we are going to have to really watch close. It's not what I wanted. I wanted something stricter, I wanted something more stringent, but this is what we've got. So I'm looking at this and I'm going to do everything I can to make it successful, make it work. Because if it doesn't work, then we know why. But if it does work, then great, I was wrong. This works. This is what we need. So the first step is called deflection. And a lot of this is still under development. All the counties are going to have to come up with their own processes based off their own resources and everything that they need to put into that and their funding. But it's deflection. So deflection is essentially, think of it as a pre-conviction duty diversion type scenario, where somebody gets arrested, they first off get the opportunity to enter treatment. Right. So it's the very first step. You can go to treatment. If they haven't been convicted, the DA is not involved yet. No attorneys are involved yet. They haven't stood really before the judge yet. Go to treatment. If they go and they complete that treatment, then they'll be good. If they don't complete the treatment, or if they say, yeah, no, I don't want to, then the next step is going to be a conditional discharge. At this conditional discharge point is where the district attorney gets involved, and they have a little more teeth, a little more ability to make somebody go to treatment, to get them into that. Because like I said, they don't want to do it voluntarily. So now let's give them more of a nudge, more of an incentive to go. If they fail that, or if they choose not to do that, the next step is when they go onto the judge. And at that point in time, when they face the possibility of conviction. So that whole process, again, it's gonna be under development. We're gonna see how it works out. We've got to make sure that we've got that back structure to support it. But given all the workforce issues that we have with police, with behavioral health, with judges, district attorneys, defense attorneys, it's gonna take us a while to get there. And so this is gonna be an every session effort to evaluate this program and make sure that we're funding it to make it as successful as possible. The template for the diversion or for the deflection, Marion County's got something that's very similar. And that was used as a template for this, and then the state of Washington does something similar as well. So there are some successful, Marion County's been very successful with getting people into treatment and eliminating some of these convictions. So again, always optimistic, hopeful that it'll work.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question. So in small communities like our own, and we have someone who's been arrested for drug possession, and they get the unclassified misdemeanor, right? And so now, in order for us to do that, our police, how are our police going to release them into mental or rehab center from down here? How does that work? Is it a transport, like they have a handshake deal that, for instance, one of our officers is gonna drop them off on a rehab court, the front doorstep? How does that work?
That's still going to be determined. That's part of the process that needs to be developed because the officers will still have the ability to cite release. So they will still have the ability to transport, but they're probably not going to be held in a jail very long. So you'll still have those couple options because it is a crime. They are being arrested for that crime. But where are they going to go? We've got to have that back end infrastructure, and it's going to be those, again, it's going to come down to some of the cities and the department's policy and their philosophy on how they want to handle this and what latitude. I mean, there's always officer discretion. And it's going to be working and training and helping those officers figure out, okay, how much time and effort are we going to actually put in transferring somebody to Lane County? And then if they're going to get released very quickly, who's going to transport them back, how it's going to work.
Nor does Lane County have plans to put rural community police officers into that training the same as they would the sheriff's department?
Sheriff's Department doesn't have much.
Well, I just mean like, is like the bigger police stations versus like we have 3 full-time officers and some volunteers. Are we gonna have the same training availability as the bigger police stations when that time comes for the training to handle those situations?
At this point in time, my assumption is absolutely that once this process gets developed, that particularly with the DA's office involved, the sheriff's department involved, and all the local agencies, that there's going to be training because everybody's got to know what the rules are, and what the new bounds are. Because it's always going to have to be that evaluation of that process. Is it actually working? And then also because Oak Ridge also helps out with the bowl. How's that going to look with Oak Ridge helping out with Lowell? Is there going to be different ways? Is there going to be some amendment or augmentation to the contract between the two cities? What is that going to actually look like?
My question was gonna be, is it specified in the bill who's gonna be paying for the treatment if they do opt to go into treatment?
It is not specifically specified. That's going to still fall under how treatment would be paid for anyway. So a lot of it, probably going to be a lot of OHP will still pay for it. Some of it's going to be on the health insurance side of things. So there's going to be payment, there's going to be support because it is, it's an arrest, but it's a pre-conviction. I don't think that the sheriff's department is going to pay for it. So it's not going to come from their budget. They do at times if you are actually incarcerated, if you're in the jail, they are responsible to pay for your medical bills while you're incarcerated. But because you're actually not physically in the jail when you're going to treatment, you do these kind of things, I don't think it's going to fall on the sheriff's department. I don't think that bill is going to fall onto the city. It's going to go to the other payers that are out there. Yeah. All right. I'll move on to a couple of the bills. The next one is a big thing. I know Oak Ridge submitted a couple of projects, having some development they want to do, but it's Senate Bill 1537. This is the housing bill. This is an omnibus bill. There are a lot of sections. I will not go through every single section. Let's talk about it briefly. There are a lot of things that are good in this. The idea of this bill is to help with housing production, build more homes. So there's some efficiencies built in. There's help and support for cities and counties, planning departments. One of the things that came out of this that I like parts of it, but for me, I'm concerned about some of it. It's the Housing County Accountability and Production Office, HACO. Because this organization, this new agency, is tasked with focusing on reducing admin burden. So that housing developers can actually develop and build houses quicker with less administrative burden. So there's gonna be granting, great, let's grant, let's give some grants to local communities, let's do some kind of things. Some of the things that were also in this bill is the ability to defer SDCs from being paid up front by developers to the back, so that you don't front load them with costs they can't really afford. So again, the whole thing is incentivized production. The concerns that I have with HAPO is because there's gonna be a little bit of regulatory oversight. I don't want HAPO to become another LUBA. I don't want HAPO to become another agency that somebody can appeal to. And that now the cities and the county have to produce all the backup paperwork. They've got to spend time, effort, energy from staff, which is a limited resource for most agencies. So that's my concerns. I don't want it to be a LUBA light, but it's got a lot of good things. So again, this is something that we're gonna have to look for and see, actually, is it gonna actually help out the production? I know Building Codes Division has already started putting people into HAPA. They've transferred some of their building inspectors. So we'll see how quickly it comes online and how that goes. The next one, which is big for Oak Ridge, and I appreciate always the letters that I get from Mr. Clevenger, and I think Mayor's signature is usually on them as well, but recreational community. As big as recreation is in Oak Ridge. There was a court case out of Newport that in my opinion is a bad court case, but really it upset recreational immunity. The recreational immunity is it helps all recreation providers, gives them immunity from being sued. You know, so if you have lands that are open to public, that are free or with nominal parking fee charge, it protects them from being sued. So if somebody twists an ankle in a park, the city's not liable for that unless, you know, there's gross negligence or malfeasance or something like that. So that was upturned by this court case out of Newport, and we were able to fix it for a year. So it's a temporary fix. We're going to be having this conversation in 25, but this is significant. There are a lot of, you know, the city county insurance recommended to all cities that you close your recreation areas. The liability for cities that have and communities that have recreation opportunities is significant. They have to go through these lawsuits. So hopefully we'll get it fixed in the long session. Hopefully we'll get it back to where it was, because there really weren't any complaints by most people that I ever heard about the way that recreational immunity was existing. But this court case upset that, so we've got to try to reset that and be able to protect our cities. I mean, recreation is huge in Oregon. We all know that. We need to keep that. So that's one that we got fixed this time. We talk about it. The other one that I mentioned, just because Oregon's one of the first in the nation to go this route, it's the right to repair. So it's Senate Bill 1596, and the right to repair bill was the only opposition was from Apple. And there are three key things in here that Apple opposed. So it is there's something called parts pairing. Parts pairing is when you have I think there are 7 parts on your cell phone if you have an Apple that have to be synced to, they have to be Apple parts, and they get synced to basically your individual phone itself. And Apple didn't want non-Apple parts to be used for these 7. All the other states have acquiesced, given it to Apple. This bill was run by Senator Solomon. I voted in favor of it because Apple's arguments didn't sway me at all. The 3 points that they talked about, Senator Golden in the public hearing on the Senate side asked specifically, Apple, do you do this? Do you slow down non-Apple parts, right? Do you throttle them down? No. Do you do this? No. Do you do this? No. Apple denied doing any of these things. So the 3 things that they were arguing against, they said didn't impact them at all. So we passed the bill. We were the first state that actually passed this bill for the parts pairing side. And shortly after we passed this is when the federal government sued Apple for their monopolistic behavior. So, you know, I look at this as I'm hopeful that this is a way that folks that are in the tech industry or want to be in the tech industry, you can open up a business a little bit easier now. Those folks that are savvy enough to be inventors can create some things, you know, do some parts, be inventive, do some of those types of things. So hopefully this opens up that market a little bit. And for some of those folks to make it easier, particularly on all of us for consumers, that now we have options. So that was right to repair. One of the other big bills that came, and this came from Representative Nathanson based off of the University District Hospital closure, and it's House Bill 4136. There are a number of elements in here that she put. And the one thing that I talk about that I really support, I'm on the Emergency Management Committee, and This district emergency management is something that we live with every winter, and every summer. One of the things in this bill is an innovation fund. And what we're looking at is a way that how can we deliver healthcare to people better than actually putting them in an ambulance and then taking them to an ER, particularly if their level of illness or their injury is not at that ER acuity level. So how can we deliver services better? And I'm excited to see how that works, because as we found out during the ice storm, local clinics closed, they don't have employees that can't get there, they're still covered by the ice, and they run out of power, the generators are done, and or they don't have power. So is there another way that we can actually deliver healthcare sooner? Because one of the consequences of that is after the ice storm that we had, is that everybody that had slip and fall accidents, they, as soon as the ice melted, they ended up in the ER. They were not ER level injuries, but there was a glut of people trying to get through it, and the wait times were enormous. We do that a little bit better. So, one of the other bills, House Bill 4156. One of the benefits that we have with Representative Mannix in the caucus. Representative Mannix was also representative in the 90s. He ran for governor in the early 2000s, but we updated the stalking, since the stalking crimes. And what we did is we added all the technologies that didn't exist in the 90s, so air tags. All the ways that a stalker could actually keep tormenting the victim. So we've updated that to include modern technology. So very excited about that. And then the other big one that we did, first time in 49 years, House Bill 4024, campaign finance. So this is something that we've talked about in the ordinance for a long time. We were working on when we had no campaign finance limits. This bill is phased in over time. It doesn't become fully effective until 27, so it's not effective this campaign cycle. And there are some certain stages over the next few cycles, few years that it implements. 2027, its first year is going to be fully implemented. So again, that was one that was unexpected. Nobody knew about that, but there are a couple of additions that were out there that forced everybody to come to the table and solve that issue. So sometimes the way that the legislature works, the outside groups influence and force us to have these conversations. And that was the same thing with 4002, the initiative positions out there also forced that conversation, and they played a role in what those final negotiations were. One of the bills that I talked about, mentioned that did not pass. This is huge, just give it in the paper a lot. So we have called the Healthcare Committee. This is House Bill 4130. And this was the fix to the Corporate Practices, Medical Practices Act in Oregon. So all the mergers and acquisitions that are happening around the state. So we've got Legacy and OHSU. But if you pay attention to the papers, Corvallis is Optum. And then for some of my constituents, some of the folks I've been talking to, it's Oregon Medical Group getting bought out by Optum.
Yeah.
Optum came in, they bought out Oregon Medical Group. A lot of the primary care providers left, and they told all the other patients that if you want to keep seeing your doctor, now you have to have heart insurance. That's not right. We have people, I have folks that I talked to this week that now have to go hunting for other doctors. They can't find any because they're waitlist. And some of these are older folks with multiple problems. They need to get in and see a doctor, and they can't. So the merger and acquisitions that are going throughout the state is a significant issue. And it's something that we're going to continue to work on. The bill, because this is such a complex topic, what the bill focused on was the percent of ownership in a practice that had to be at least 51% by somebody that is a medical doctor or licensed, so that the doctors always have control of delivering healthcare to people, to patients. Maximum 49% that's private equity. That creates a lot of issues and concerns for corporations, for these entities that practices that already exist. And my concern is what authority does the state have to have an existing corporation that formed as it should, in an operation for decades potentially. Now you've got to do something different. Now you've got to reconfigure. Are people going to lose out on money? So this is a very complex topic and issue that we absolutely have to address. And we're going to be talking about this in 25. We'll get it fixed. But because it's so complex, this is something we got to get right the first time. There are some bills that we can pass, some policies we can pass that, we can come back and fix the next session. We can phase them in. But as soon as we put something down like this on paper and we pass it, it's going to impact doctors and medical providers instantly as soon as it gets signed. So we have to get it right the first time. And this is vital for people to be able to get to their doctor. This is something that we see in the pharmacy side. We have usually about 40 independent pharmacies, particularly rural pharmacies, that close every year because of the impact of pharmacy benefit managers. It's all vertically integrated. So you've got insurance companies that own benefit managers, and they own pharmacies. and they steer patients to their pharmacy, so all the money stays in that vertically integrated corporation. Same kind of thing that now happening with clinics, and it's the detriment of patients, so this is another key topic that we'll be talking about. The last thing, just preparing for 25, the 25 session is gonna be the transportation session. So it's gonna be all things transportation. Again, we've got a number of other issues that we're gonna continue working on. And some of the projects that I know about, and I'll continue to talk to everybody and get them so that we get them in a good spot. So that we can take advantage of any opportunities come long session. Covert, they're looking at the I-5 interchange there with their parcel of property that they have on the east side of I-5. Been to meetings talking about that and see where we can go and see what that looks like. That's a long project that's gonna be drawn out, so we're trying to get that phased in. Crestwell, if you go to Crestwell Bakery, like I like to go to Crestwell Bakery, you know, Crestwell, you've got that little jog, that intersection right there with the train tracks. They want to do something different with that, and they want to do it and hopefully be able to revitalize their town. They do something different with the storefronts. For up here is looking at the sidewalks, looking at curb cuts, looking at some different things. So happy to help out with whatever I can do with that. And then in general, with pavement condition, Cottage Grove particularly has a little pavement condition index. So looking at how can we help cities and smaller communities upgrade some of their pavement out there, and particularly with all the potholes and all those kind of things. So that's what I've got. Any questions?
Yeah.
First,
First, I'll ask the counselors, any questions you have, Representative Conrad? Any more questions?
Great presentation.
Yeah, thank you very
So
much.
much.
Any counselors online have a question for Representative Conrad? Okay, to the room, any public have any questions for Representative Conrad? You must have been extremely thorough. Any public online have questions? And it looks like we have one from our police chief, Kevin Martin.
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you to Representative Conrad for keeping the Sheriff's Association, the Chiefs Association at the table, especially with that House Bill 402 or 4002. We really appreciate it. I'm at the Chiefs Conference right now, and we've been talking about that bill pretty much the whole 3 days we've been here so far. So I just want to say again, thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Reach out to me. I'd love to hear how the conversations go there, if anything changes.
Anyone else online? Staff? No? No. All right, well, thank you very much. And James and the city council will remain engaged with you as you go into the next session, and we're looking forward to, getting our issues forward so you at least become aware of them.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to agenda item 10.2. That's e-permitting contract. James? Or Rick?
All right, Mayor, Council, in 2021, House Bill 2415 required all building departments through the Consumer and Business Services to be able to offer online permitting. And to help offset this, the state is working through, they are offering a program called Acela, which is free to the cities, so that we meet their requirements. In front of you is the Acela IGA with the state. I'm really hoping that you guys agree with this, because if we do not use Acela, then we must go out and find our own, which is compatible with not only compatible with Northwest Code, they're using their agreement to Acela as well, but also has to meet all the requirements of House Bill 2415.
Okay. Do I hear a motion on this agenda item? Okay.
I move we direct staff to utilize the e-permitting program offered by the state for building permits and sign including IGA.
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Councilor Tarman, seconded by Councilor Kenyon. Any questions of staff or please? I knew you would have one.
I always do. Are these gonna go straight to Northwest Code, or like, are they gonna bypass the
No, they'll
Oak Ridge
bypass.
city staff?
They won't bypass city staff,
Okay,
but with that being said, this does give the ability for over-the-counter permits to be purchased online without our review.
so they're not gonna be paper anymore, or not as much?
Not as much. They will have the option of paperless. But also within the option paper will be the option for contractors to literally get on the Stella site and buy a pay for purchase and get a permit at 12 o'clock at night.
That's awesome.
So that does remove us some, but as far as interaction between contractors, us and Northwest Code, we are still the first and last point of contact.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Kenyon?
It says add-on programs can be purchased such as code enforcement. What does that mean?
So there's other modules above and beyond the free program that we could purchase. If they were beneficial and cost effective.
Yeah, I get that. I just wondered what code enforcement would be. Like, currently in my mind, the words code enforcement means police officers responding to complaints about things that don't meet code.
Well, there's also code for planning and building as well, so the building part of the code is going to be up to the seller, but for planning, not so much. So there's also community development code enforcement is in our situation. I'm more of the police that's for cities that are very across the board. What that program actually exactly looks like, I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Oh,
So
well, regardless, if we wanted to purchase extras, those would come back individually, right?
and then I have to admittedly, if there's an issue, we get kicked off the Casella. When we go to get put back on it, they do charge us for that. That's a caveat.
Do you have a follow-on question, Counselor Kenyon?
Yeah, so that must be probably the answer to the next question I was gonna ask, which is, it says there are additional costs for reinstatement. Okay,
So, or if we decide that, hey, we're gonna go try another company, find out they're not as good, and we try to go back to a seller, going back is not free.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, staff? One, Rick, there's some efficiencies obviously gained in the whole process. Is there any chance that our contract with Northwest Code might decline or decrease because of the efficiencies gained here, less time they have to put in?
Not so much because most of the efficiencies gained are here. in-house.
Okay. And then you probably don't know this, but is it a commercial off-the-shelf software or is it some special custom thing the state has produced that's going to be a nightmare to maintain?
No, we're not. They've been
Okay.
running this since 2008, so they've had plenty of time to work out the kinks.
Yeah.
And the short tools I've gone through for permit tech, I have not heard any complaints about
Good.
Stella, where I have heard complaints about other programs.
Yeah.
Nothing good stuff
Okay.
about Stella.
Thank you. All right, if there's no further questions, the motion was to direct the staff to utilize the e-permitting program offered by the state for building permits and sign the included IGA. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Turman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to item 10.3, and that's the Oregon Department of Energy CREP construction grant for the WAC letter of authorization. James?
Mayor. All right, so we have an Oregon Department of Energy grant already for the feasibility study for solar on the WAC. That study has come in, I've attached it as exhibit. That feasibility study has said, yes, solar would work well on the roof of the WAC. So we are now eligible to apply for construction grant, they'll pay for that solar system through the Oregon Department of Energy. Simply need a letter signed by the mayor saying, yes, authorize the city administrator and city staff to go after this grant.
Okay, do I hear a motion on this?
I move to approve the letter of authorization to apply for a community renewable energy program construction grant for the WAC.
I'll second.
All right, motion was made by Counselor Kenyon and seconded by Counselor Hollett. Any questions of staff on this? Please,
I wanted
Councilor
to
King.
ask, so is this grant, would this grant pay for not only the panels, but the installation as well?
Yes, up to a point. I'd say it's 75% left.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, the motion was moved to approve the letter of authorization to apply for a Community Renewable Energy Program construction grant for the WAC. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Yes. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to 10.4, and that is the Parks and Community Services Committee / OTA, Oregon Trails Alliance. Request for work session on Monday, May 13th at 5:30 PM. James?
Alrighty, so, OTA, Oak Ridge Trails Alliance and Park Community Services, we just want to have a presentation session with all the stuff that we've been doing. One of the reasons for this is because there's been grants coming down the line where we've asked for stuff for parks. Same with OTA, they've asked for a lot of support lately, some of their wonderful work. And this is just to give us a chance to kind of show how the work that we're doing ties into the multiple planning documents. Basically, we want to pull them off the shelf, dust them off, put them to use. And this kind of ties the work going forward into those. The idea is hopefully when we come to you for more requests for grant opportunities, you're like, yeah, I remember talking about that. And because there's a lot of synergy in the parks and community services and OTA right at the moment. We'd like to share that excitement with y'all. We just hope we have a presentation and get enough of you to come join us, that we have to post it as a work session.
Thanks, Rick. Do I hear a motion on this?
I move we direct staff to notice the OTA and Parks and Community Service Committee presentation on May 13th, 2024 as a city council work session.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Kenyon and seconded by Councilor Coker. Any questions, further questions of Rick on this particular issue, please?
I just wanted to let you know that when you had to leave the room, when the senator was here, Councilor Tarman brought up the railroad walkway. Thank you, my words. And he said that that could potentially qualify for the funding.
Yeah, transportation.
Yeah, it was an additional funding. What was it called? I wrote it down.
Or did you?
I had it.
Oh, you got it. That's
It's like
right.
an inter.
Innovation Fund.
Innovation,
Oh.
thank you. Innovation
Yeah.
fund.
Okay,
And he said that it could potentially be part of that project, that they could help facilitate money to put towards that, because it is a connectivity thing. It would possibly qualify. So I was gonna tell you to contact him about that.
very good.
Okay.
Well, yes, that's some of the exciting synergy we've had lately, and it's just, I do a lot of other stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion or questions?
I think it's a great idea. I've been excited to hear more information in a formal setting.
It's in my calendar.
All right, the motion was to direct the staff to notice the OTA and Parks and Community Services Committee presentation on May 13th, 2024 as a city council work session. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
What time?
Counselor
Oh, no.
Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Brewer.
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson.
Aye.
Counselor Hollett.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to 10.5, that's the Tree Planting Festival 2024 RTMP / TRT funding request. James?
All right, the Tree Planting Festival has applied for $1,000 RTMP funds for the current festival. However, the RTMP committee, on the 9th, voted voted unanimously to recommend awarding $1,000 in TRT funds instead of RTMP. The reason they did that is because the committee also voted unanimously that city council should set aside $10,000 for future spending. Council, remember, we already awarded, allocated, 21,350 of the 31,359. We got non-CNC funds for this year, so the committee is recommending that city council not award any more RTMP funds for the rest of this calendar year, if at all possible. So that 10,000 will be set aside. You're spending, you're not gonna be getting that much in RTMP funds. So that's a recommendation of 1,000 TRT funds rather than.
Okay, so I hear a motion on this agenda item.
Make a motion. I move to award $1,000 in TRT funds for the 2024 tree planting festival.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilor Tarman, seconded by Councilor Kenyon. Any questions of staff on this?
I'm sorry,
Question?
Jean, sorry.
Yeah.
How much is left in the TRT as of right now?
We don't know exactly,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to load that question.
but plenty to cover this.
Okay,
For thousands left.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Same question, but for RTMP. Say 10,000, but
Yeah, I'm fairly confident that 31,369 that we got for the year is there, and it's been accounted for since then. The last financing report we had said there's an additional 2,500 in that account. From before, but
okay,
I'm not sure, so.
okay.
But we're using the most conservative numbers.
Any other questions? Okay, the motion was moved to award $1,000 in TRT funds for the 2024 tree planting festival. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Yes. Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to 10.6, and that's the Oak Ridge Council for Arts and Culture, OCAC, RTMP TRT funding request. James?
All right, the Oak Ridge Council for Arts and Culture, OCAC, applied for $2,500 in RTP funds to conduct arts-related programming and activities. The OCAC is a new arts organization separate from the OAC. And this is their very first funding request. Application is attached as well as the Arts Corporation, New York Secretary of State. Well, thanks here, answer any potential question. Again, committee met on the 9th. Again, voting unanimously to recommend 2,500 TRT funds rather than RTP for the reasons explained before. I also noticed that my recommended motion was an error. Don Kenyon, in your packet, I gave you the corrected motion, so I'm just gonna swap out OCAC for Refine Festival.
So,
I think mine is actually correct.
Yes.
I moved to award. Oh, is it okay?
Mhm.
No. I moved to award $1,000 in TRT funds to the Oak Ridge Council for Arts and Culture.
Just, I'm sorry, I didn't fix that part. They're requesting 2,500. That's still maybe a motion,
What was the committee recommendation?
2,500. I just.
I would like to, change my motion
Okay.
to 2,500.
Do I hear a second on that motion?
Second.
All right, motion was made by Counselor Kenyon, seconded by Counselor Tarman. Any further questions on this particular issue?
So
Nothing.
what exactly is their event?
These people can explain it better than I can.
Actually, we have several events planned, but probably the big one that we have planned in the coming year would be a plein air hangout in July. Which I don't know if everyone knows what a hangout is. Plein air painting is painting on location. And so
Painting on what?
on location outside.
Okay.
You paint what you see. So, it's really becoming popular. There are several of them going on in Oregon now. And they're popular all over the United States. It's a great way to get artists to come here and go out into, the area and paint. Then they bring their finished painting back at the end of the day. It gets judged, there's prizes, there's a party. And so it's a great way to get people to come in, spend the night because, they painted all day. So it seems like a really good way to bring artists from the outside in. And we plan to have all of our shows, including that one, in the new Speed Fund. We're trying to make sure the businesses are pulled in to every single phase of it. For instance, the check-in in the morning, you have to check in with your blank canvas, you have to get stamped, because we don't want anything cheating. Bringing in a studio painting, because painting outdoors is a lot harder than painting in studio. So, at the end of the day, they'll come back with their finished painting and gifts. If they decide they want to submit it, then they will pay to be in the judging. If they don't want to, they don't even have to. That's it. That will, the check-in where they get stamped in the morning will be at one of the galleries. It would actually be at the Fine Hall. When they come back with their finished painting, that will be at the other gallery that is now Fine Hall. Yeah. So, by doing it in the morning and in the evening, that gets people coming into town for breakfast and dinner. And out into the woods during the day, we'll probably give them a 20-mile radius around Oak Ridge to paint. And we're gonna do something that I don't think anyone else in the United States has done, and that is we're gonna do it for the whole month of July, every single Saturday. We're gonna be doing this. So we're gonna try to have every weekend have this event going on. At the end of the month, a big party. That's how we do it. Big party.
Thanks, T. Any other questions? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm looking at your application. One of the costs is asking for reimbursement for insurance. Can you explain what the insurance is for?
Actually, the insurance part is something that we might need and might not need. For this particular event, we wouldn't need insurance. But for the insurance at the building where the offices and the other gallery were, there is an insurance that needs to be. And that may or may not be something that we actually have.
Because we have talked about this before, and if it's an operational insurance for the association, that's not something that is allowable.
Okay.
But if it was for the event itself, that would be different. But if it's for if it's for your organization, it doesn't fall.
And there are some events where insurance might be necessary.
Yeah.
For this particular one for the paint out, I don't think any insurance.
That's why I was curious.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I have a question for James. So you said TRT, correct? And TRT is not based on reimbursements?
Correct, they give it for the event, they still have to show a invoice or receipt. It just doesn't have to be after the event. It's like with RTP, reporting requirements, you have to give estimates for.
Reimbursement through receipts?
Right.
Yeah.
So they have to have proof. But they can be reimbursed for the event actually.
Yes.
Right, any other questions? All right, the motion was to award $2,500 in TRT funds for the Oak Ridge Council for Arts and Culture. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. On to 10.7, and that's naming the Green Waters Park Community Building after Floyd Selka.
So as I'm sure everyone knows, when stock up last week. It's not condition. City staff with the approval from Floyd's family, work staff would like to rename the Green Waters Park Community Building. To Floyd Selka Community Building. Memory. Requesting up to $500 parks and or public works related funds to pay for the plaques or signs we install on the building at future date in collaboration with South Park Bank.
Okay, do I hear a motion on this?
I move to approve renaming the Green Waters Park Community Building, the Floyd Stallcup Community Building, and approve up to $500 in parks and or public works funds to be used to make plaques and or signs for the building.
Do I hear a second?
Second that.
All right, motion made by Councilor Kane, second by Councilor Brewer. Any further questions of staff or discussion? I'm really happy to see this, James. He was Floyd, his retirement was our longest serving employee, I believe. And just a fabulous thing to do in his memory. So. All right, the motion was to approve the renaming the Green Waters Park Community Building, the Floyd Stallcup Community Building, and approve up to $500 in parks and or public works funds to be used to make plaques and signs for the building. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to 10.8, that's the Westford intergovernmental agreement contracts for police and fire / EMS services for fiscal year 24-25. James.
All right, so part of the process, we have to renew our annual GAs with Westford or Police and Fire Services. We negotiated with the city of Westford. They wanted no increases in budgets, hours, and city, we wanted 6%. So we had the middle. They agreed in principle to 3% increase. Both contracts, all the other things remain the same. So both from their city council, their meeting remain.
Okay. Do I hear a motion on this?
I move to approve the police services IGA contract with the city of Westford for fiscal year 2024-2025 with 3% increase as drafted.
And do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made by Councilor Tarman, second by Councilor Brewer. Any questions or discussion? Okay, the motion was to approve the police services IGA contract with the city of Westford for fiscal year 24-25 with a 3% increase as drafted. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye. All right, motion passes. You have a more introduction for fire and EMS, James, or are you done?
They're,
Same.
yeah,
Same.
yeah, they're the same.
Okay, then do I hear a motion for fire and EMS?
I move to approve fire and EMS services IGA contract with the city of Westburg. Fiscal year 2024 to 2025 with 3% increase as drafted.
I'll second that.
Okay, like last time, the motion was made by Counselor Tarman and seconded by Counselor Brewer. Questions on this one, fire EMS? Okay, nothing heard. So the motion was to approve the fire and EMS services IGA contract with the city of Westford for fiscal year 24-25 with the 3% increase as drafted. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. On to item 11, which is business from the city administrator, 11.1, other business and updates. James?
Right, three things. I'll let folks know we have 2 Greenwater Park cleanup days this year. It's Sunday, May 19th, Saturday, June 1st. More details to follow, but just say the dates for everyone. We have some trainings coming up. Friday, June 14th is the ethics training from the state. Send someone in person. They'll be coming from Southern Oregon. They wanted to know what time we wanted to start at, so that I would speak to council. So if I could have consensus, I think late morning,
What is the day of the week?
Friday. Friday, June 14th.
What's the name of that class?
It's yes, it's the department that, not department, that it's the.
Yeah.
Would you, you sent out the
Automatically
automatically on my phone.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
what
it is
ethics
coming.
training. Oh, sorry. A trainer at the Oregon Government Ethics Commission trainer will be providing a free in-person ethics training with city staff and elected officials. Exact time.
Anyone have a problem with late morning on that Friday?
Came through as 10:30.
Yeah, that was just kind of from my.
Yeah. That's fine with
Do you
me.
have any idea how the length of the training?
I think just have about half the day, so I don't, 3-4 hours. It might be on the long end, might, you don't have any questions?
Would earlier be okay than that, everyone?
Oh, really?
Fine.
9 o'clock on Friday for those online, that okay? You can make it?
Yep.
Okay,
What was the date of the Green Waters thing again? Park cleanup?
Sunday, May 19th and Saturday, June 1st. On to the next training, which is coming up this Monday at 11 a.m. Here at City Hall Board. There's a link I sent out. That's the social media training. So I'll remind folks about that. Brief update on TV View. Myself, Rick, Corny, came as well. Councilors Brewer, Union, we're all there. And lots of folks online too. Positive. But they kept the record open, so the planning commission did not make a decision. They will in a couple of months. That will be their recommendation to the commissioners. So I just want to keep council updated. I think we're in receipt of our letter as well as Westford's letter. So fighting that fight. Wanted to note that Kevin Martin will be at the CA 4 days, April 25th and 28th. State. And then finally, the Traveling County Visitor Industry Summit that council approved table 484 on Friday, May 17th, 8 AM to 2 PM. And I just wanted to get those councils who'd like to go to that. I'll let you. I wouldn't think there'd be a limit on this. It's like it held a huge training.
We went to it last year,
I think
remember?
we paid for the table, I think there's 8 or 10.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're not discussing council business, so I don't think we're limited to.
Right.
Is it a split at a table type thing?
Yeah.
It's not a walking around thing?
No, it's a table.
Okay, then I'd love to go too.
I'll be at a presentation at U of O.
Are you gonna invite Chambers and all those people too?
Depending on what's left out of the
Okay.
break.
Just curious.
We have Pollock, Army Brewer, anyone online. Okay.
Any councils online want to attend? Or can attend?
Can you put me down as a maybe? I'll have to see what's happening on that day. I'll tell you soon.
No problem. Okay, I think, that's all the updates I can.
12 is removed from items removed from consent agenda, which is nothing. 13 are ordinances and resolutions with public comment. So item 13.1 is resolution 04-2024 Administration Advisory Committee. James?
Right, so I, my recommendation is that all of these resolutions passed, with the exception of this first one, where I would like the additional language for the city administrator added to the end of the sentence in section 4.2 under responsibilities. So it would read other activities within the scope of the committee as assigned by the city council for the city administrator. Recommendation is based on the fact that as it currently reads, I would technically have to come and ask city council at the time I needed help drafting a policy or so make use of their add that ability.
Okay, do I hear a motion on this?
I'll make a motion. For admin committee resolution 04-2024. Oh, wait. Yes, sorry. With added language, I move to approve resolution 04-2024 with the language of the city or the city administrator added to the end of section 4.2 and after a first reading.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Councilor Tarman, second by Councilor Brewer. Any discussion or questions on this particular resolution? Wait a minute, before we do that, let me open up for public comment. That makes sense. So I'll open it up either online or in the room for public comment on this resolution 04-2024, the Administrative Advisory Committee. All right, nothing heard in public comment. Council, do you have any questions or comments on this resolution? Okay, nothing heard. The motion was for the admin committee resolution 04-2024 with the added language. I'm sorry, I move to approve resolution 04-2024 with the language for the city administrator added to the end of section 4.2 after a first reading.
Is that the only change that was made to this one, or was this one multiple changes?
From the original,
Mhm.
this, oh, there are multiple changes, yes. It has all the changes that council agreed to 3 months ago. The list of the changes.
I just wanted to bring one thing. So this one, administrative advisory committee allows out of city committee members, right?
Yes, all of them now allow up to two. They must live within 97463 or 972 zip code.
Well, it is one of the recommendations.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, I think, I understand that for,
I believe council did authorize all of the changes that the committee recommended. There was a vote on it.
Yes.
so are you saying I can't say anything if I don't?
Well, number one, we're no longer in discussion. I actually was reiterating the motion, but I understand you might have been behind, but
Okay.
I don't mind the discussion, but all I'm saying is that what James said is correct. We did vote on this, and you're welcome to make a discussion item on it.
I'll just vote no, thank you.
All right, Jackie, would you call for a vote?
Yes. Counselor Hollett,
No, nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Yes.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. On to 13.2. It's resolution 05-2024 Audit Advisory Committee.
Right, the Audit Advisory Committee. This one's a little different because there's only people on the committee, two counselors. Or the total. Yeah, two city councilors, one citizen member of the budget committee. One non-voting member of the city finance. Director.
James, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to backtrack and have you read the resolution.
All right, going back to resolution 4-2024, resolution appealing replacing resolution 20-2020. City of Oak Ridge Administration Advisory Committee. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge City Council desires to repeal and replace all previous Administration Advisory Committee resolutions, and whereas the purpose of the Administration Advisory Committee is to be an advisory body to the Oak Ridge City Council and to aid city staff by providing input in the preparation of resolution, ordinances, and rules, consideration for ratification by City Council. Now therefore be it resolved by the Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, establishment and membership. The Oak Ridge Administration Advisory Committee is hereby established. The committee shall consist of 5 voting members, 5 citizens at large. At least 3 must reside within Oak Ridge city limits. Up to 2 may reside outside city limits, but must live within 97463 or 97492 zip codes. And 2 non-voting members, 1 city councilor and 1 city administrator. No staff member may apply as a voting citizen member if they are assigned to the committee of the non-voting member by the city administrator for the resolution. The committee will its first meeting in January of each year or at any point single vote, elect a chair, vice chair, and secretary from each voting members. Section 2, term the citizen at large members of the committee shall be appointed 3-year staggered terms. Members may be appointed to a seat for less than 3 years. If an appointee is filling a vacancy in which a previous member resigned, the city council representative shall serve for their right term. City appointments will follow the outlined years. 5 seats and section 3, quorum and rules. A quorum must be present in order to convene. 3 voting members of the committee shall constitute a quorum. A simple majority vote from the voting members in attendance at a meeting of the committee shall be required to take any action. Regular meetings of the committee should occur monthly. The chair, or in the chair's absence, the vice chair may establish the date and time of the next committee meeting. No decisions will take place outside of the committee meeting. Committee members shall receive no compensation, but shall be reimbursed for duly authorized expenses after approval from the city administrator. Committee shall have no authority to obligate the city for payment of any sums of money. The committee member may add an item to the meeting agenda at any time. Section 4, responsibilities. Responsibilities of the administration advisory committee shall be as follows. One, formulating recommended resolutions, ordinances, and rules for the governance of the city for city council consideration for approval. Two, other activities within the scope of the committee as assigned by the city council or city administrator. Three, keep records of minutes, each meeting for Forest 182.650. Four, annual report should be completed in the fourth quarter of the year. Five, reports or recommendations of the committee shall be in writing, considered advisory in nature, and shall not be binding on the city. Section 5, conduct. All members are expected to attend meetings regularly and abide by the Old Bridge City Charter, the Old Bridge Code of Conduct, Resolution 205, and this resolution. A member of the committee may be removed from the committee by the city council for misconduct or non-performance of duties at the request of the committee members via a simple majority vote. A voting member misses 3 consecutive meetings without reasonable cause shall be considered non-conforming. Absences known in advance should be communicated to the chairperson as soon as possible. The resolution becomes effective 30 days after it is passed by the council.
All right, thank you. And since the motion's been, or the resolution's been read, is there possibly a second motion that anyone wants to make?
I'll make a second motion. I move to approve and adopt resolution 04-2024 after a second reading by title only. All citizens, members who are currently serving committees. Is you want this part in here?
It's up to you. I don't know that you have to say that.
Okay.
Is that your motion? Okay. All right. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
All right, the motion was made by Councilor Tarman, second by Councilor Brewer. Any questions on this second motion regarding 04-2024? All right, the motion was to approve and adopt resolution 04-2024 after a second reading by title only. Vote, please.
Sorry. Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Nay.
All right, motion passes. James, title, please.
Right. It is resolution 4-2024, resolution repealing and replacing resolution 20-2020, City of Oak Ridge Administration Advisory Committee.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes and has been read. On to 13.2, you had kind of the introduction. Anything more on that?
Nothing more.
Okay. Do I hear a motion on this resolution?
Motion. I move to approve resolution 05-2024 after a first reading.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Right, motion made by Councilor Tarman, second by Councilor Coker. Discussion, questions of staff? Okay, nothing heard. Think here, let me find my place. The motion was to, let's see it. It's only one motion. Okay, thank you. Motion was to Audit Committee Resolution 05-2024 Audit Advisory Committee. With the that's it, to approve. Let me see. The motion was to approve resolution 05-2024 after the first reading. And I think we can leave that rest out. did you read the whole thing? No? Okay. Okay. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Yes. Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
I,
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
I,
All right, motion passes. James?
Right. Resolution 5-2024, resolution repealing and replacing resolution 6-2022, the City of Oak Ridge Audit Advisory Committee. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge City Council desires to repeal and replace all previous Audit Advisory Committee resolutions. And whereas the purpose of the Audit Advisory Committee is to be an advisory body of the Oak Ridge City Council and aid city staff in the selection of highly qualified city auditors to assure clear and complete transmittal of audit results to the city council and the committee. Now therefore be it resolved by the Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, establishment of membership, the Oak Ridge Audit Committee is hereby established. The committee shall consist of 3 voting members, 2 city councilors, and 1 citizen member of the budget committee, and 1 non-voting member of the city finance committee. The committee will, at its first meeting in January of each year, or at any point in the year by simple majority vote, elect the chair, vice chair, and secretary from the voting and non-voting members. Section 2, term, the citizen budget committee member shall be appointed for a 2-year term. Members may be appointed to a seat for less than 3 years if an appointee is filling a vacant seat in which a previous member resigned. City council and the officer, whether left in term, seat appointments will follow about 9 years. Typo there, I would change that 3 to 2. This one is a 2-year. All right, section 3, quorum and rules. Quorum must be present in order to meet. 2 voting members of the committee shall constitute a quorum. A simple majority vote from the voting members in attendance at the meeting of the committee shall be required to take any action. Regular meetings of the committee should occur as needed. Chair or in chair's absence, the vice chair may establish the date and time of the next meeting. No decisions will take place outside of the committee meeting. Committee members shall receive no compensation, but shall be reimbursed for the authorized expenses after prior approval from the city administrator. Committee shall have no authority to obligate the city for payment of the money. Any committee member may add an item to the agenda. Section 4, responsibilities. The responsibilities of the audit advisory committee shall be as follows. 1, review with city administrator and finance director. Those forms, this firms or individuals proposed for appointment as the auditor in years. 2, recommend to the city council the appointment of the auditing firm that the committee deems best suited to perform the city audit. 3, discuss as necessary with the city auditors any additional or particular areas of inquiry or audit focus which the auditors or the committee deem desirable and appropriate. 4, review the communication to the governing body presented by the auditors. Discuss the material weaknesses and or significant deficiencies if needed. And best practices, recommendations if needed. With the finance department or city administrator. Verify that the audited recommendations are implemented as appropriate and report to city council. 5, other activities within the scope of the committee signed by city council. 6, keep records of minutes for each meeting for ORS 192.650. 7, annual report should be completed before the end of the calendar year. 8, reports and recommendations of the committee shall be in writing. Considered advisory in nature, shall not be binding with the city council. 6, by conduct, all members are expected to attend meetings regularly and abide by the open city charter of the conduct and this resolution. A member of the committee may be removed from the committee by the city council for misconduct and non-performance of duty at the request of the committee members via simple majority vote. The voting member who misses 3 consecutive meetings without reasonable cause shall be considered non-performing. Absence is known in advance. To be communicated to the chairperson as soon as possible. Resolution effective 30 days after it passed by the council.
Thanks, James. Is there a second motion to be made on this resolution?
Make the second motion. I move to approve and adopt resolution 05-2024 after a second reading by its title only.
I'll
There's-
second.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Tarman, seconded by Counselor Coker. Any discussion, questions? Okay, nothing heard. The motion was to approve and adopt resolution 05-2024 after a second reading by title only. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
All right, motion carries. James, title, please.
All right, resolution 5-2024, a resolution appealing and replacing resolution 6-2022. The Oak Ridge Audit Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Moving on, 13.3, that's resolution 06-2024, the library board, James.
No additional edits or changes are requested. We drafted with recommendations previously provided.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve resolution 06-2024 after a first reading.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Brewer, seconded by Counselor Tarman. This questions or discussion? All right, nothing heard. The motion was to approve resolution 06-2024 after a first reading. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
All right, motion carries. James,
Aye. Please, council, I'd like to read the resolution and I will note each section if it's exactly the same as all of the others.
is that okay with council? Okay,
Yes.
All right, resolution 6-2024, a resolution repealing and replacing resolution 15-2020. City of Oak Ridge Library Board. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge City Council desires to repeal and replace all previous library board resolution. And whereas the purpose of the library board is to be an advisory body, the Oak Ridge City Council, and to aid city staff by providing oversight, assisting in the preparation of policies and rules for the library. By the council, how the will be resolved. The Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, establishment membership. The Oak Ridge Library Board is hereby established. Has the same amount of voting members, 5 citizens at large. The other ones, 3 must reside within Oak Ridge city limits, 2 can be not yet city within the Oak Ridge and Westwood zip codes. Same as these other ones. The 2 terms, the terms are also the same, that there be 3-year terms. So to be appointed. Fill out the remainder of the term. Quits. The quorum and rules are also the same. There's 3 voting members, council's quorum. Responsibilities are a little bit different, so I'll read those. Section 4 responsibilities. Responsibilities of the library board are as follows: formulating recommended rules and policies for governance of the library, so we come to consideration and approval, oversight of recruitment, training, and retention of library volunteers. All requests for expenditures of library funds requested by the board will be presented to the library coordinator for transmission to the proper authority. Expenditures will be made in accordance with procedures that are in place at the time of request. All requests that are not budgeted regardless of the amount will be reviewed by the city administrator prior to expenditure. Any request for expenditures beyond the city administrator's authority will be forwarded to city council for approval of fund expenditure. Oversight of programs, fundraisers, and other activities that will be like the library. 5 other activities within the scope of the committee assigned to city council. 6. Keep records of minutes for each meeting after hours 150. 7. Provide recommendations to the city council. Long-term goals and objectives for the library. Pursuant to RS 357-520, each public library shall annual report to the state library and to the government board in form supplied by the state library. Annual reports will be completed in the 4th quarter of the calendar year. 8 reports or recommendations of the committee shall be in writing, considered advisory in nature, and shall not be binding on city council. Section 5, conduct is the same as the resolutions. This resolution will affect 30 days after the council passed by city council.
Thank you, James. All right, is there a second motion to be made on 06/2024?
I move to approve and adopt resolution 06/2024 after second reading by title only.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Motion made by Counselor Tarman, seconded by Counselor Brewer. Any discussion on this second motion? All right, motion was made to approve and adopt resolution 06/2024 after a second reading by title only. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Kenyon,
I,
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye. All right, motion passes. James, the title, please.
All right, resolution 6-2024, resolution repealing and replacing resolution 15-2020. City of Oak Ridge Library Board.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 13.4, and that's resolution 07/2024 Parks and Community Development Committee. Any updates, James, to that?
No, just wanted to note that we changed the name of the committee slightly to the Parks and Community Development Advisory.
All right, do I hear a motion on this one?
I move to approve resolution 07/2024 Parks and Community Development Committee. After first reading.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Counselor Tarman, second by Counselor Brewer. Questions or discussion on this particular resolution for parks? Okay.
He was previously in Parks and Community Service Committee. And
Was it Parks and Rec?
no, Parks and Community Services Committee, which was kind of weird because I think the committee thought that it sounded like it included all community service organizations. Something like that. You remember those? So,
If I may, also coming back this time, my title changed.
I was gonna ask that question.
My title used to be Community Services Director, when really what it was, community development was a better fit in alignment with other
Scope,
scope and agencies. But it really seemed to make sense that this one here is the topics and the subjects are community development. So it kind of makes sense to follow suit. That was the anyways.
any other questions?
Yeah, so does that mean it
Please.
covers more than the parks?
Always covered one of the department.
So what else would it cover that I might not be thinking of?
Community development, all the big planning, public works. Basically everything that I work on. Even though that the group probably would like to work more on parks, I do present pretty much all my projects to them for ground truthing. and their input.
I don't know if you remember, but we used to have a whole separate committee called Community Services. Bobby Whitney was the counselor. What, the most recent counselor that was on that committee when it was a separate committee. And then the council, probably 20. Combined the two committees.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, you don't remember the-
Yeah.
That's why it has such a long name, because there used to be a parks.
Parks, used to Parks, Trails, and Trees.
Yep.
And then there
And
used
then
to be
community
community services, but
services.
neither one of them had enough people to make either one of them successful. So the idea was to combine them, and we got the advantage of the most successful people out of the two. And ever since then, it's been pretty.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we go to the vote? All right, and the motion was to approve resolution 07-2024 after a first reading. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer.
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Bjornson.
Nay.
All right, motion passes. Is there a second motion on this resolution? Yes, I'm sorry. Keep me straight.
Resolution 7-2024, resolution replacing resolution 17-2020, City of Oak Ridge Parks and Community Development Advisory Committee. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge City Council desires to repeal and replace all previous Parks and Community Development Committee resolution. And whereas the purpose of the Parks and Community Development Committee is to be an advisory body to the Oak Ridge City Council and to aid city staff by providing input, city streets, water, wastewater, stormwater, parks, trails, and outdoor spaces. Now therefore be resolved by the Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, establishment of membership. Those same conditions as other committee resolutions. Section 2, term, that is also the same 3-year terms. Section 3, form and rules. That is also the same. Section 4, responsibilities. Slightly different, so I'll read those. Responsibilities of the Parks and Community Development Committee shall be as follows. 1, provide oversight of the comprehensive plan, transportation system plans, stormwater plan, community trails plan, and parks master plan. 2, other activities within the scope of the committee assigned by city council. 3, keep records of minutes required by ORS 2.650. Annual report should be completed in the 4th quarter of the calendar year. 5, reports and recommendations of the committee shall be in writing. It's advisory nature and should not be binding. City council. Section 5 is conduct, that is the same as the other resolutions. So this resolution will be completed 30 days after the days passed by the council.
Thank you, James. Is there a second motion for this resolution?
Good. I move to approve and adopt resolution 07-2024 after a second reading by title only.
You're a second on this.
Second.
Right, motion made by Councilor Tarman, second by Councilor Kenyon. Any questions or discussion on the second motion? Nothing heard, and the motion was to move and approve, and adopt resolution 07-2024 after a second reading by title only. Jackie?
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Hollett.
Aye.
Counselor Brewer.
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson.
Nay.
Counselor Tarman.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. We're at 7:55, so I'll ask the council if they're willing to extend to 8:15 to try to finish this agenda.
Now do the second reading.
Yes.
All right, resolution 7-2024, resolution repealing and replacing resolution 17-2020, the City of Oak Ridge Parks and Development Advisory Committee.
Thank you, James. On to 13.5, and that's Resolution 08-2024, the Public Safety Advisory Committee.
No recommended additional changes.
Okay. Do I hear a motion on this resolution?
I move to approve resolution 08-2024 after a first reading.
I hear a second.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Counselor Tarman, second by Counselor Coker. Discussion, questions of staff. Okay, nothing heard. Motion was to approve resolution 08-2024 after a first reading. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Nay.
All right, motion passes. James, if you could read by exception.
Right, resolution 8-2024, resolution repealing placing resolution 18-2020, City of Oak Ridge Public Safety Advisory Committee. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge City Council desires to repeal and replace all previous public safety committee resolutions. And whereas the purpose of the public safety committee is to be advisory body of the Oak Ridge City Council and to aid city staff by providing input, aiding the development of public safety policies and procedures. Be resolved by the Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, membership. The 5 citizen members are the same as the other committees. They're up to 7 non-voting members. In addition, that they are city councilor, city administrator, fire chief, police chief, designee from Eatonville Rural Fire, designee from the city of Westburg, and designee from the Oak Ridge School District, as designated by their respective boards. No staff member may apply as a voting member if they are assigned to the committee as a non-voting provides administrative resolution. Section 2, the terms that's same as the other resolutions. Form and rules are also the same. Section 4, responsibilities. Responsibilities of the Public Safety Advisory Committee shall be as follows. 1, to advise City Council of the committee's recommendations regarding public safety policy, service levels, fiscal budgetary impact, in life, health, and livable neighborhoods. 2, to advise council on educating the community about public safety and health issues, concerns, and programs. 3, to facilitate Oak Ridge community involvement in public safety and health and increase citizen awareness of both. 4, in line with the above stated objectives, the following are examples of issues for the public safety committee. Advise City Council on disaster preparedness, emergency management, medical services, fire and rescue services, police services, public safety at city facilities, public safety legislation, post incident management, traffic management, identify public safety and health needs on the bridge, develop educational programs and materials to increase community awareness, organize and conduct public forums on public safety and health agencies, promote opportunities for citizens to assist public safety agencies through volunteer activities like the Every Watch program, firefighters, police reserve program, the emergency response team, Red Cross volunteers, and the search and rescue. 5, all other activities within the scope of the committee as assigned by City Council. 6, keep records of minutes, which is required by Florence 12650. Annual report should be completed in the 4th quarter of each calendar year. 8, reports the recommendations shall be ready to advisory committee, shall not define the on the City Council. Section 5 is conduct that is the same committee. The resolution in fact 30 days after it's passed by the council.
Thank you, James. Is there a second motion to be made on this resolution?
I move to approve and adopt resolution 08-2024 after a second reading by title only.
I hear a second.
Second.
All right, motion made by Counselor Tarman, second by Counselor Kenyon. Any discussion on the second motion on this resolution? All right, nothing heard. The motion was to move to approve and adopt resolution 08-2024 after a second reading by title only. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Hey,
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Kenyon.
I,
All right, motion passes. James, by title, please.
Yes, resolution 8-2024, resolution repealing and replacing resolution 18-2020, the City of Oak Ridge Public Safety Advisory Committee.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 13.6, that's resolution 09-2024 RTMP and TRT Advisory Committee. James, anything to add? All right, is there a motion to be heard here? Okay,
I move to approve resolution 09-2024 RTMP and TRT Advisory Committee after first reading.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Brewer, seconded by Counselor Tarman. Questions of staff, discussion?
I just wanted to point out I'd be willing to read one if you'd like. Give me a break.
All right, any further before we go to a vote? All right, the motion was to approve resolution 09-2024 after a 09-2024 RTMP and TRT Advisory Committee after a first reading. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Hollett,
nay,
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Kenyon.
I,
All right, motion passes. Counselor Kenyon, if you would, by exception.
sure, resolution 09-2024, a resolution repealing and replacing resolution 07-2022, City of Oak Ridge Rural Tourism Marketing Program and Transient Room Tax Advisory Committee. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge Council desires to repeal and replace all previous RTMP and TRT Advisory Committee resolutions, and whereas the purpose of the RTMP and TRT Committee is to be advisory body to the Oak Ridge City Council and to aid city staff by reviewing applications and providing recommendations to the City Council for the distribution of Lane County transient lodging tax dollars received in the City of Oak Ridge. Now therefore be it resolved by the Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, establishment and membership is the same as almost all of the prior ones. Pretty much all of them. Section 2, term is the same as all of the prior renewed resolutions. Section 3, quorum and rules, also the same. Section 4, responsibilities. The responsibilities of the RTMP and TRT committee shall be as follows. Number 1, reviewing, prioritizing, and submitting all requests for RTMP and TRT funds to the City Council for approval. Number 2, other activities within the scope of the committee as assigned by the City Council. Number 3, to keep records of minutes for each meeting per ORS 192.650. Number 4, an annual report should be completed in the fourth quarter of the calendar year. Number 5, reports or recommendations of the committee shall be in writing, considered advisory in nature. Oh, sorry. And shall not be binding on the City Council. Section 5 conduct is the same as all previous. This resolution becomes effective 30 days after it's passed by the city council. Dated and signed on this day.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there another motion on 09-2024?
I move to approve and adopt resolution 09-2024 after a second reading by title only.
All right, motion was made by Counselor Terman, a second by Counselor Brewer. Any comment, discussion? Okay, the motion was to approve and adopt resolution 09-2024 after a second reading by title only. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Hey,
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Coker. Aye. Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Counselor Kenyon, can you read by title?
Resolution 09-2024, a resolution repealing and replacing resolution 07-2022. The City of Oak Ridge Rural Tourism Marketing Program and Transient Room Tax Advisory Committee.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 13.7, and that's resolution 10-2024. That's the Oak Ridge Economic Development Advisory Committee. James, anything?
No additional.
Okay. Do I hear a motion on this 09 or 10-2024? Yeah.
I move to approve resolution 10-2024 after the first reading.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion made by Counselor Tarman, seconded by Counselor Brewer. Any discussion, questions of staff on the ODEC? All right, nothing heard. The motion was to move to approve resolution 10-2024 after a first reading. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye. Excuse me, aye.
Counselor Hollett,
aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. James?
Resolution 10-2024, resolution repealing and replacing resolution 3-2023, the City of Oak Ridge Economic Development Advisory Committee. Whereas the City of Oak Ridge City Council desires to repeal and replace all previous Economic Development Advisory Committee resolutions and operating guidelines, and whereas the purpose and scope of the Oak Ridge Economic Development Advisory Committee, ODAC, is an advisory body to the City Council and the city staff by providing recommendations concerning economic development within the City of Oak Ridge to improve the economy. Now therefore be resolved by the Oak Ridge City Council as follows. Section 1, establishing membership. 5, citizen voting members are the same as other resolution. There are 4 non-voting members: the city councilor, city administrator, community development director, and a member of the Oak Ridge Westford Chamber Board of Directors. 25-minute board. Section 2 for terms. This is also the same 3-year terms. Section 3 form and rules is also the same. Section 4 responsibilities. Responsibilities of the Economic Development Advisory Committee shall be as follows: 1, committee members shall receive no compensation, but shall be reimbursed for duty hours, expenses for prior approval. City administrator, we shall have no authority to obligate the city for payment of any sums of money. 2, no member of the committee shall participate in any committee proceedings, action, or vote in which any of the following is a direct or substantial financial interest. Member or the spouse, brother, sister, child, parent, father-in-law, mother-in-law of the member, any business in which the member is then serving or has served within the previous 2 years. Any business with which the member is negotiating for or has an arrangement or understanding concerning effective partnership or employment. The actual potential conflicts of interest shall be disclosed at the commencement of the meeting of the committee where these proceedings, action, or vote will be taken. 3, when requested by the city council or city administrator, committees will assist in the vetting process of specific projects and needs. City administrator will delegate tasks to the committee members individually and confidentially. All members vetting notes shall be marked confidential. The members indicate. All notes shall be turned to the city administrator. Confidential record not be made available or released to the public. Ready, we will act. The shall hold an executive session or us. We wrote to be to deliberate over the findings and consensus for the recommendation to the council. City administrator for then drafting a recommendation to the city council in executive session or regular session as appropriate at his or her discretion. 4, another activities within the scope of the committee assigned by city council. 5, keep records of minutes of the meeting or as limited to 2.650. 6, an annual report will be completed in the 4th quarter of the calendar year. 7, reports and recommendations of the Woodbridge Economic Development Advisory Committee will be in writing considered the advisory committee should show council. Section 5, rules of conduct and other resolutions. This resolution will become effective 30 days after it's passed by.
Thank you, James. Is there a second motion here?
I move to approve and adopt resolution 10-2024 after a second reading by title only.
Second that.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Torman, second by Councilor Brewer. Discussion or questions of staff on this in 2024. All right, nothing heard. Motion was to move to adopt or approve and adopt resolution 10-2024 after a second reading by title only. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Yes. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Torman,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. James, title, please.
Resolution 10-2024, resolution appealing and replacing resolution 3-2023, City of Oak Ridge Economic Development Advisory Committee. I do have a request. Mayor, and that is, can we have a separate motion that would be, I have it highlighted here, that all citizen members who are currently serving on committees that are full are allowed to remain voting members on the committee until they quit or the term expires. At which point they're not.
Well, is the councilor willing to make that motion?
Yeah, I already know that actually. So too. I move that on resolutions 13.1 through 13.7. I'm sorry. Start over. I move on resolution 04-2024 through 10-2024 that all citizen members who are currently serving on committees that are full will be allowed to remain voting members on the committee until a committee member quits or their term expires, at which point the seat would not be filled.
Okay,
I'll second that.
motion made by Councilor Kenyon, seconded by Councilor Brewer. Any discussion or questions of staff on this motion? All right, the motion was for resolution 04-2024 through resolution 10-2024. All citizen members who are currently serving on committees that are full will be allowed to remain voting members on the committee until a committee member quits or their term expires, at which point the seat will not be filled. Good. All right, Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
yes. Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Coker,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Council, it's 8:17. I'm asking for time up to 8:30 to finish out the rest of the agenda, if that's okay.
Yes.
Staff, you okay? All right. Moving on, no public hearings. Item 15 is department, staff, board, committee, commission reports. James, did you have something with 15.1 finance?
Yes, report from Jackie today. We have gone live with Excel this week. Staff have been training on utility billing, payable, receivable, etc. And training condensed this week, but there will be some additional trainings throughout the month for small items. And so far, the new software system is easy to learn and navigate. Made some payments through it, and everything is smooth so far. Look forward to additional progress.
Thank you. You have a question? Yes.
I wondered on the finances where we're at with, being ready for our budget meeting.
The budget meeting has been canceled.
Oh,
New date set.
Well, the next scheduled one was,
Yeah, that hasn't been canceled yet. There's a chance.
okay. Yep. Any other questions on finance? Okay. 15.2 is the police report. Chief Martin, are you pitching that one?
Yes, sir. Mayor and council and citizens, the March 2024 police report is, our total calls were 313 incident reports that resulted in 12 case reports, 2 arrests. Then the breakdown is 285 incidents for Oak Ridge with 12 reports. Westford had 6 incident reports and 3 hours and 15 minutes of contract hours. Lowell had 22 incident reports and 41 hours of contract hours. Our court fines are, for the month of March for Oak Ridge Municipal Court is $21,868, and Lowell Municipal Court was $521. The command staff attended Northwest Leadership Seminar along with the fire chief and one of the fire captains. And then there's a breakdown of our year-to-date. And then I was gonna kind of answer real fast Councilor Brewer's questions about House Bill 4002. I'm at the Chiefs Conference right now. We've been talking about it every day, and there's a lot of unknowns. A lot of it is unfunded mandates. There's a second bill that funded some rehabilitation and sobering centers, and those are, I think there's 23 locations across the state. I don't know if our county got any of those. And also, I think our county's getting, don't quote me, but there was a certain amount of breakdown that each county got. And so a lot of this is going to depend on the district attorney's office with guidance for procedures on that. So that'll be oncoming, but all of us chiefs are talking about it all week this week. I got reelected to the Oregon Chiefs Association Board by my peers, and that's end of report.
Thank you, Chief. Any counselors have questions of the police chief? Okay, moving on to 15.3, that's the fire EMS report. Chief Hollett, are you there? I don't think so. Okay. Moving on to 15.4, public works. Rick?
Yep, Mayor, council, and citizens, for March of 2024, Public Works distributed 18.2 million gallons of water, treated 27.3 million gallons of wastewater, 33 service orders, 9 locates, no wastewater repairs, 1 leak, meter service, other tasks performed with park maintenance, mowing, street maintenance, potholing and sweeping, water maintenance, repairs, replacements, reading and delinquents. Cody project, update, 600 feet of main line installed, 2 hydrants, 2 meter services, 600 feet of electrical conduit, with one transformer vault and 600 feet of fiber vaults with one vault as well.
Any questions of Public Works? Rick, when you say main line, is that water and sewer?
Just one.
Where's the sewer? Is it gonna get laid different or is it already laid?
No, sewer is getting laid in a different location, is getting into back into the lock on Kokanee.
Oh, okay. Yep, got it. Thanks. All right, let's get reports from staff. James, anything to add before we move on?
No.
Okay. Up to other business. James, anything? Okay. Brings us to public comment. Anyone in the room have a public comment? Okay. Anyone online have a public comment? All right, nothing heard. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
All right, meeting adjourned at 8:22. Thank you, everybody, for the extended session.
James?
Thanks to the two of you for